Okay, I am just going to make sure that this is starting to roll good here. So just 1 second. Make sure the audio sounds good. Looks like it's starting to fire up. For all of you guys just joining on, I'm just making sure the stream is starting. All right, it sounds like it's starting. Audio sounds good. Hello to everyone joining on. We're just going to take a look at the models tonight and see some of the new 0Z runs that have come in. The 0Z runs are runs that came out at about 4 p.m. And these are models that were not included in the recent video update I just did. If you would rather just watch a quick video update, I just posted one to YouTube. But yeah. All right. I see some of you guys hopping on. Hello, everyone. Benjamin Yurkovich here with Washington Weather Chasers. Currently, we are looking at the National Weather Service blend of models. And this product takes together a lot of National Weather Service models and some non-National Weather Service models and blends them all together and outputs a general kind of mean of all of them. So right now we're looking at the snow totals for the Sunday into Monday event, what could possibly occur. And as you can see, there's snowfall for a good portion of the state, according to this product. Areas like Everett possibly getting around 2 inches, maybe a little bit more to the east. Places like Mount Vernon getting a couple inches. Whatcom County, the islands, out there by Port Angeles, Sequim, Port Townsend. And we're still a couple days out from this, though, so things could definitely change as we get closer. So this is not my official forecast by any means here, but we shall see. Now, looking at the NAM 3KM, it's kind of interesting to look at the 0Z here and see how it handles the Arctic front that comes through on Sunday, the modified Arctic front. So here we are going through Saturday, and then as we get into late in the night on Saturday night, you can see that Fraser River outflow start to kick in up there in Whatcom County. And then as we go through the morning, you can see more of that cold air pouring out of the Fraser River Valley. And then it slams into the northern part of the Olympic Peninsula by later in the morning on this model. And then by about late morning into the early afternoon, it brings sub-freezing temperatures with that modified Arctic front down through Snohomish County into North King County by 2 p.m. By 5 p.m., it gets even further south. So the timing on this will change. It already changed quite a bit from the 18Z to the 0Z model, but confidence is increasing that a modified Arctic front is going to come down the I-5 corridor. And again, if you would rather just watch a quick summary, I just uploaded a video to YouTube. You can look up the Washington Weather Chasers YouTube to see that. But this model, look at this. Look how cold the temperatures it has coming into Whatcom County by 11 p.m. on Sunday night. It has single-digit temperatures pouring out of British Columbia into Whatcom County. A temperature of about 8 degrees by 11 p.m., about 7 degrees by 12 a.m., and this would be paired with pretty strong wind up there, gusting to about 18 knots, even more over the water, gusting to close to 50 miles per hour up in Whatcom County with frigid temperatures with wind chills on this model. Look at that. 12 below zero wind chills up there in Whatcom County by midnight on Sunday. And then as we get into the earlier morning hours on Monday, wind chills are still about 14 degrees below zero, still gusting around 50 miles per hour. Now I'm sure you guys want to see what that model is looking like for snow, so we'll show that real quick too. So as that modified Arctic air starts coming down the I-5 corridor on Sunday morning. Here we are looking at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Has some concentrated snowfall over the islands with this latest run and West Skagit County. And then as it sinks further south, a convergence zone starts to form near the Snohomish County, King County line. 5 p.m. Sunday right there. And then the Arctic air kind of dries out the air mass and the snow showers begin to diminish by early Monday morning. But these modified Arctic fronts are oftentimes full of surprises. Sometimes they can definitely disappoint. But sometimes I think it's not super uncommon for them to produce a little bit more snow than even the models think. Looking at tonight's run of the NAM 3KM, you can see how it concentrated those snow totals around the San Juan Islands, North Whidbey Island, parts of Skagit County, parts of Snohomish County. And this is all in association with this block of high pressure that's off the coast here and this trough of low pressure here that opens up over the Pacific Northwest, British Columbia, and kind of clips Washington. And at the surface, there's also this really strong Arctic high, and that's associated with the cold air coming down towards the Pacific Northwest. Thank you for the stars, whoever just sent that. Let me see who that was. Rob Matheson, appreciate that. So now we're looking at the most recent 0Z GFS run. The GFS run has been all over the place. Hasn't really been in agreement with other models today. So we're going to take a look live at this most recent run. You guys are looking at this GFS run with me live. I haven't seen it yet. We're about to see if it has come more into agreement with the European model, which we're going to take a look at a little bit closely here soon. So there is Sunday into Monday system. And my gosh, the GFS is holding on. It is not in agreement with the European model and the Canadian model and the UK Met model for later in the week. It keeps on showing this secondary trough kind of hanging out further north in BC, whereas the European brings it much, much further south. We can see what the Canadian model is looking at here. Haven't looked at this model yet either. About to see it for the first time with you guys. By the way, if you're watching on Facebook and you love snow, go ahead and heart this post. If you hate snow, go ahead and wow this post. And for all of you over there watching on YouTube, hello. I see your comments coming in. It's good to see you guys. Okay, so looking at the Canadian model here. There's Sunday into Monday's trough, and boom, it is holding on. So look at the difference between the Canadian and the GFS. So there, oops. So there's the GFS for later in the week, hour 99. And there's hour 99 on the Canadian. Just pure stark differences. And if the European model shows the same as the Canadian tonight, I'm going to start thinking that the GFS model is just broken. The GFS probably has a good handle on the weekend's trough, but I'm not sure it has a good handle on the trough that comes in on Tuesday. Looking at what the GFS is showing for snow here. Just one second. I turned off the scroll feature on my mouse when I was recording that video. I'm going to turn it back on for the sake of this live stream. It's a bit easier to navigate around when I've got that activated. Okay, thanks for your patience. So looking at the GFS, GFS shows quite a bit of snow moving through the area on Sunday with snow totals Not too crazy. Has the heaviest snow totals actually right over the Seattle area with a couple inches there. Maybe a bit more over by Bellevue. And then later in the week, let's see if it even shows snow with Tuesday's system. And now it shows most of the area being rain with a little bit of snow up in Whatcom County and then rain later in the week. But looking at the Canadian model here. Thanks for the stars, Dana. Appreciate that. So looking at the Canadian model here, it shows that colder trough coming down on Tuesday. So obviously it shows snow for Sunday into Monday for some areas. Not super heavy amounts, but it could surprise. And then on Tuesday, it actually has that low coming in way, way south, like Northern California, Southern Oregon, with some snow showers up in Washington. And then later in the week, it has what would be likely a mixed precip, like either an ice storm with sleet and snow. But the Canadian is way, way colder than the GFS is after Monday. I can almost guarantee that. Let's take a look at... thanks for the stars, Elise. So Monday, pretty chilly on the GFS. Doesn't get above freezing for much of the Puget Sound area. Tuesday warms up a bit. And then it warms up later in the week, big time. Looking at the snow totals for that other storm. That's weird. Okay, looking at the Canadian model here. Pretty cold on Monday. Tuesday doesn't get above freezing for pretty much all of Washington. And then Wednesday it shows just a pretty legit Arctic blast coming down the I-5 corridor. And Thursday morning lows in the low teens and single digits. And look at that. Look at the lows in eastern Washington on Thursday morning on the Canadian model with lows below zero all the way up to the crest of the mountains, places like Wenatchee, -15. Now, I'm just going to clarify that this is not for certain going to happen. But the Canadian is way, way cooler than the GFS, and the European model is a bit more in alignment with the Canadian model, at least as of this morning. Take a look at the trough on this morning's European model here. There's this weekend's, and then boom, it opens up that trough over Washington State. Looking at the Canadian, we can compare them side by side here in just a second. Hold on. How's everyone doing? Let me know how you're doing in the comments, and I'll go back and check them out later. So, okay, there's the Canadian, and there is the European. Look at that. Pretty much perfect alignment with the 0Z, the most recent Canadian run, and this morning's European run. And what this European run showed was more snow for some areas of Washington on Tuesday. So there's Sunday, and then Tuesday storm right there. And then a really nasty storm possibly later in the week with ice, sleet, snow. But the temperatures on the European have really, really trended down. And we're going to look at some of the Ensemble data for the European here in just a moment. So Sunday gets below freezing. Monday, it might get above freezing in some areas of the South Sound unless it trends even cooler tonight. Thank you for the stars, Diana. I really appreciate that. And I will say, too, the 18Z European trended even cooler than this morning's. But for places like Seattle and Everett, it doesn't even get above freezing on Monday. And then the lows on Tuesday are upper 20s, lower north, maybe low 30s on Tuesday. And then for many areas of the I-5 corridor, it doesn't get above freezing on Tuesday. And that storm comes through, brings more snow to areas of Washington. We're not totally positive which areas of Washington it will bring snow to yet. But then look at the temperatures on Wednesday morning. Gets it down to 17 degrees in places like Everett, 12 in places like Arlington, Lake Stevens, and up there in Bellingham gets it down to like 8 degrees. And then on Wednesday, it doesn't even get above 24 degrees in Seattle and Everett on this model run. So, really cold. And also, let's take a look at the national blend of models for temperatures. This is tonight's run that ran. Okay, so there's the modified Arctic front that sweeps through Sunday. And then it has Monday from basically Seattle north being below freezing for highs. Thank you, Rachel, for the stars. Really appreciate that. High of about 22 up in Bellingham. And then lows up in Bellingham in the teens, low 20s in Skagit County, mid to low 20s in Snohomish County. Really, really cold east of the Cascades. And then Tuesday from about Tacoma north has highs below freezing. Lows in the low 20s in Snohomish County on Wednesday. Low 20s and possibly upper teens in Skagit County. Teens in Whatcom County. I know I'm not covering all the counties. I'm just trying to give a broad brush of the region. And then look at this. On Wednesday, the national blend of models has almost the whole entire state below freezing for the high temperature. 28 for a high in Everett, 28 for a high in Seattle, Tacoma. Only 33 in Portland, high of 9 over in Spokane. So yeah, this could definitely change again though. The models have been all over the place, been very volatile. This is looking at the 18Z ensemble data for snowfall in the Payne Field, Everett area. And for the Sunday into Monday storm, it has about a 2-inch mean. Some of the models show higher, up to about 4 inches. Some of them show lower, down to about a dusting. And the ratio would probably be different than 10 to 1. Up in places like Bellingham, it has a mean of about an inch of snow on the Monday into Sunday, or Sunday into Monday storm. And places like Seattle, it doesn't have a whole lot at all, but that could definitely not be the case, and there could be more snow. And the Ensemble mean for temperatures on the 18Z European trended even cooler than the 12Z, with a high of 32 on Monday, low of 28, high of 30 on Tuesday, high of 27 on Wednesday, high of 25 on Thursday in Seattle, which that'd be really impressive if that happens, but this could switch back. So we'll just have to see. The models have been all over the place, but it seems like there's a bit of consistency growing for the possibility of some colder weather going into, like much colder weather going into next week and snow. Bellingham with highs in the low 20s. So yeah, I'm going to look at some of your questions here real quick before I go over some of what the National Weather Service is talking about. Okay, I'll leave that up on the map, and I'm going to look through some of your questions here. Okay. Callie says she almost passed out when she saw tonight's forecast. I think Lake Stevens is going to get some snow this weekend, possibly. Sis, I think Tacoma has a chance of snow, but it's a little bit more uncertain down there. People are saying that they have their fingers crossed for snow. If you're just watching and you haven't done so yet, go ahead and heart this post. If you love snow, go ahead and wow it. If you hate snow, if you're watching on Facebook, and if you're watching over on YouTube, go ahead and like this post if you're liking this content. I'll look at your questions over on YouTube in just a second. So right now I'm just looking through your comments on Facebook. Seeing a lot of people that want snow. But I'm seeing a few people that don't too. I see you too. Deb Lewis says to wrap the pipes. Yep, just in case. Always a good idea to put those hose protectors up and stuff like that. Patrick, I think Granite Falls has a higher chance of getting some snow this time than the last event. I think Arlington will get in on some of the action too, but we'll see. All right, gonna switch over to looking at YouTube comments here for a second. Hello, Over1, watching over on YouTube. Okay. Someone's asking for me to look at weather over in North Carolina. I am sorry, but I'm probably going to focus on Washington tonight. Sabrina says she would love more snow in Lake Stevens. Patricia says that we're just here for the snow. Jonathan asks if I could check the Ensemble mean temperatures for Whidbey Island. I sure can. Let's go ahead and Oak Harbor. That's what I'm looking for, I believe, on this. Whidbey Island Naval Base. All right, so the Ensemble mean temperatures on the 18Z run has at least 4 days below freezing up there in Whidbey Island. High of 30 on Monday, 28 Tuesday, 26 Wednesday, 27 Thursday. Low of 26 Monday, 24 Tuesday, 21 Wednesday, 23 Thursday. This could obviously change. And it's good to keep in mind that the GFS model is still not completely biting to some of this, but it does still get kind of cold. Has the modified Arctic front on Sunday, and then pretty chilly lows on Monday. Doesn't get above freezing from basically Chehalis north on Monday. And then Tuesday, there is a warm-up. Oop, I'm looking at the 18Z. Let's see if the 18Z was... Okay, so the 18Z is the same for Monday. And then Tuesday's trended a bit colder on the 0Z run tonight, but still not as cold as the European. Okay. Forks on Monday. Anything by the pass between Port Angeles? That's a good question. Let's go ahead and take a look at Forks on Monday. Take a look on the NAM 3KM. It's definitely going to get cold over by Forks. by Sunday night. And there might be a chance of snow out there. I bet you there's a chance that it'll overachieve. But there's some snow showers out there on the NAMS model run tonight, and also on the HERS model run, which actually shows the snow getting pretty far south on Sunday. Okay, looking at some more of your questions over here on YouTube. It's been a pretty crazy autumn and winter so far. I've already got like 4.5 inches of snow at my house this year so far, which is pretty good. Okay. If I'm squinting really bad, the display on my MacBook actually started going bad today. The computer is running just fine. Thankfully, I've got an external monitor, but I'm not going to be able to get this repaired until next week. So thankfully the computer is working just fine. It's just kind of hard to see some things. So, all right, finished looking at your YouTube comments. Going back to Facebook now. All right, got to scroll back a little bit. Okay. Lots of comments. Kai, if that's the way your name is pronounced, Kii. The European model tends to be the most accurate model. And it's interesting. The models, they kind of trended away from the colder solution midweek and more in line with the GFS and what it's showing. And then they started trending back towards a colder solution. And now the GFS is an outlier. So Carrie Ann, I don't think this is going to be a historic weather event. I don't know if any daily high or daily lows are possibly threatened. I bet you there could be some record lows up in British Columbia, but I'm not totally sure of our area. I haven't looked at the stats. Jamie McPherson, for funsies, can you look forward to Wednesday, Thursday's system? Yeah. So for Wednesday into Thursday's system here, I'm going to zoom out towards the regionals. No, stay local. So the national blend of models shows possibly 1 inch in Seattle and more north for the modified Arctic front on Sunday and Monday. And then as we go further into the week with Tuesday's storm, it brings snow to a decent amount of the state, and then as we go later in the week, it brings snow to even more of the state. But let's take a look at the European. Let's keep in mind this has been all over the place in terms of placement for Tuesday's storm. So you can see early in the morning, maybe late on Monday night, snow starts to move into South Washington on this morning's run of the European. And from about the Snohomish-King County line south by 4 a.m., snow increases by about the commute time on Tuesday morning on this model run of the European. Brings heavy snow from Longview up to about maybe Chehalis, Olympia, and Portland could maybe even get on some of that. And then that's when, after this low passes to our south, it ushers in even more cold air down the I-5 corridor. And also the cold air gets brought more over the water. We can take a look at the 850 millibar temperature is about 5,000 feet aloft. So there's Sunday into Monday's system. A lot of cold air being brought over the water back into Washington State. And then there is Tuesday into Wednesday, and it brings a slug of even colder air down into the state with that run. And look at that cold air going down into the middle part of the country. And a huge storm forms out there by like Indiana, Ohio. But anyways, it's going to be interesting to see how much more the models change towards the middle of the week. If it takes away the cold again, or if it keeps it. Alright, gonna look at some of the YouTube comments here. I'm actually gonna pull up YouTube on my phone since I'm having such a hard time seeing the comments on my computer screen with that. Okay. Sabrina Vaughn says this is the coolest autumn she's seen in this area for over a couple decades. Yeah, it's been pretty chilly for sure. Ed Sam Jr. is asking about the Portland, Vancouver metropolitan area on Monday morning. So let's take a look at that real quick. This afternoon, this late morning rather, run of the European by Monday morning had temperatures dropping below freezing by basically between 4 and 7 a.m. down there in Portland, but then warms it back up. So I'm not totally sure if the modified, I don't think the modified Arctic front makes it all the way down there. Yeah, the modified Arctic front does not make it all the way down towards Portland on Monday morning. But let's take a look at another model just to be sure. Let's take a look at the HER, what it's showing for temperatures. I'll turn on the wind barbs as well. So there's the modified Arctic front coming down the I-5 corridor. And we only get out to about 4 p.m. on Sunday with the HER. Looking at the NAM 3KM. Wow. Modified Arctic front actually makes it pretty far south on the NAM 3KM. It's down past Olympia, down to maybe Chehalis on tonight's 0Z run. So if that modified Arctic front is able to get farther south on Monday morning, it might reach, I don't know, it could get all the way down to Vancouver. Right now it's not looking like super high impact down in Vancouver, Portland. Okay, folks. Thanks for joining on with me tonight. We will do this again tomorrow. James, Jess, Draxton, I do think that Oak Harbor is going to get pretty cold and they will get some snow. So yeah, it's interesting to see what's going on. But thanks for joining on, guys. Again, there's a video summary of this on Washington Weather Chasers YouTube if you'd like to watch that or share it with some of your friends. I'm trying to also grow that platform over there on YouTube, so if you would like to share that video around with some people that you think would like to be informed of the upcoming weather in Washington State, that would be pretty cool. But thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll have a better idea, an even better idea of what's going to happen on Sunday and Monday and the upcoming week with tomorrow's model runs. So have a good night. I will talk to you later.